We actually have a clip. You should be able to hear it. Let me know if you don't hear it, but you should be able to. Him talking about Malachi Corley as one of his favorites from the draft.
I believe in the roster for sure. And I love what Joe has done. I love who we brought in. Malachi was my favorite receiver in the draft. Now he might not have been the best on paper on the in the draft, but I really felt like he was going to fit in with what we're trying to do in his mindset and his ferocity, and so I enjoyed what we bringing him in.
There we go. So he seems excited about adding Malachi Corley. They already have joked about him staying in Rodgers' guest house during training camp. Um, but I think that's a good sign because something that usually people will put against or pin against Aaron Rodgers is he doesn't like the young guys. That was kind of the thing in Green Bay. But with the Jets, I feel like that hasn't really been the case as much. And if he could get on the same page early with Corley, like I see why Rodgers would be so high on him for what he could do in this offense. As we discussed after the draft, this is someone you kind of just want to get him the ball in space and let him do his thing.
Yeah, and he really brings a different gear to any NFL offense, but also the Jets. I mean, just having that kind of yards after catch king is what he likes to call himself. He's just a bruiser. Like, he's basically a running back playing wide receiver. And for Rodgers, having the ability to just flip out a quick screen pass to Corley, and Corley picks up 10 to 15 yards a chunk, that's great. You know, you don't have to carry the offense every single play if you're Aaron Rodgers when you have some good weapons around you. The Jets have done a great job getting him some weapons. And if Rodgers was really excited pre-draft about Malachi Corley, then it makes sense why Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh were exchanging those texts saying, you know, Corley no matter what, and why they were so excited to grab him in the draft all the way down in the third round. So Corley is definitely an exciting addition, and you could see the potential between him and Rodgers. And if Corley's going to expand his route tree and expand his skill set, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play a big role in helping him get there and develop that skill set. So it's really going to be an exciting time.
Something that bothered me with the Jets last year, and I guess with Nathaniel Hackett, and I think the quarterback play had a lot to do with it too. But with Aaron Rodgers, when he was in, so we only saw him very briefly, but in the preseason game against the Giants, I'm sure you watched that game. The Jets, when they had Rodgers in, they threw like a screen pass to Garrett Wilson, and he on the sideline made somebody miss and turned like a screen into like a 12-yard gain, picked up a first down. And during the regular season, they never did anything like that, getting either Garrett or Mecole Hardman when he was here. Fans were begging the Jets to like just I don't if you're gonna bring Hardman in, like why not just give him the ball in those situations? Or same with Garrett when your quarterback was struggling. But to me, it seems so easy. And Rodgers is a smart quarterback. So instead of trying to force something or make something a little bit more difficult than it has to be, I think him having that check down option and just be like, all right, I'll throw it out in the flat. I know Corley's going to be there. Maybe makes a guy miss and it turns into a big play kind of a thing and live to see another day in the passing attack. I think we see more of that this year, which is, I think, a good thing because with the three quarterbacks the Jets trotted out there last year, whenever there was any sort of pressure, they would just panic and either drop way back and take a sack or just throw it away instead of checking down. And I think we just see a little bit more check downs with Rodgers back there instead of kind of folding under the pressure.
Yeah, and I think that's important to have a reliable check down option. You know, obviously you've got some great route runners out there. Garrett Wilson stands out as a guy who's going to separate downfield and make a lot of plays for you past the line of scrimmage and a lot of the times past the sticks. But having somebody that you could flip the ball to underneath and all of a sudden it's a first down when it shouldn't be, that's what Malachi Corley can provide. And that's something that, again, is essential to many NFL offenses, but it's an element that was probably missing from the Jets offense last season, and now it'll be there, having a guy underneath that can make those plays. And combine that with the fact that Breece Hall is one of those guys, and he's a great receiver out of the backfield. Now you add another underneath option to the mix with Corley. I think it's going to be really exciting to see those two and three, if you include Rodgers into that conversation, those three kind of create a short passing attack.